this is Ryan from the Dry Fly Ride channel. It is March 9th, 2013. The Bruins just beat Philadelphia 3-0. Tuukka Rask with a shutout. Here for another episode for you. Is that what you call these things? Episodes, webisodes. Another update just for you. I've had a lot going on down here, so I want to get you up to speed because it's been a while since I made like an overall general update. Got a lot of stuff going on with the celery down there, my spinach and those experimental tomatoes. I got my celery all sprouted. I got peppers coming up. I got my onions are coming up. I got my other pepper up here, my little experimental pepper. They're doing crazy. And I'm potting up the celery because I'm starting to notice some things going on, and I'll give you some close-ups on the celery so we can talk about that, all right? Come check these guys out. Okay, so here is the celery seedlings. I have 10, actually I have 9 because I've actually already potted up one of them. And I want to show you how you make your decision on when to pot up your seedlings. From these Jiffy pots at least. And the way I do it, and typically what you want to do is you check around the time it starts to get its first true leaves. And here's a perfect example of what I mean by true leaves. Every seedling that comes out starts off with these little starter leaves. The leaves that come out next are considered true leaves. So when you start to see those guys emerge, what you want to do is you want to lift it up and check out the bottom. And what we got there is a big old honking root. And we don't really like that. We want those roots to be in soil and nutritious stuff, not just hanging out in the bottom. We also got roots coming out the side here. So on those initial 3 seedlings that I had, roots were starting to come out all over the place. So I decided, hey, it is time to start potting up these celery seedlings into their own little pots. And what I'm using is this little 3 inches right here. So I put some dirt in and make a little hole. And it's important you take the netting off these guys because we don't want the roots getting bound up in that netting. So you peel the netting back really carefully so you're not damaging any roots. Put it in, put some more dirt on top, and what you end up with is something like this. And so now this little guy's got his own little pot, and he can start to really do well in there. Got room to grow and blossom and flourish like a little celery seedling should. Oh, there's a cute little celery. Alright, so that was what's going on with the celery. I'm going to do that up. The other thing I wanted to show you was my onions. Onions are all up, I think, for the most part. There might be a few kind of straggling behind. I got a nice little army. They also got their helmets on. So come check those guys out for a sec. Alright, here they are, my onion army. Look at them all standing tall, standing proud. A lot of them still got their helmets on. Some have dropped them already, but look at that. I tell you, perfect little tip. You go to the store, you buy 2-pound strawberries, save your containers. This thing worked out awesome. You fill it with soil. Sow your seeds in bottom water. Put it in a little tray like this. And you don't gotta get these fancy trays. You can just save like the tinfoil baking trays. You might have some extra of those lying around. Anything that'll hold a little bit of water. And what you do is you fill it from the bottom, and the soil will wick up that water because they got little holes in the bottom, as you can see right there. So yeah, save those things. Look, I got a couple right here. I got 2 smaller ones, and the cool thing about them is they come with their own humidity dome. That's right. Just cut the top off, use it as a humidity dome. When they sprout, you take it off and you let them grow. You stick them under your lights, and you're good to go. So yeah, check out these things. Look at them. They're all doing great. You know, this is kind of shallow, so once the roots start to get a little out of control here, I'm gonna take them in bunches and pot those up too. Maybe another week on those. All right. So that's it for the onions. All right. Other than the onions, the other day I put my I sowed my eggplant seeds that I was scheduled to do. Nothing major there. It's pretty much like sowing the rest of the seeds. I used the Jiffy pellets, and I just put them in one of these trays, and I covered it with spray and wrap to lock in the humidity. And a good trick to tell when you want to water your Jiffy pellets is when there's no condensation built up on your humidity dome or on your plastic wrap, whatever you're doing to lock in that humidity. When you don't see anything built up, usually time to water. But what is going on is the peppers. Remember a couple videos ago, I was planting my peppers. Come check those out. Alright, look at these. It's been exactly 1 week from today since I planted these pepper seeds. And they are right on the money. As for when they're supposed to sprout, they say 7 to 10 days. It's 7 days. And I would be willing to bet that in another 2 days, every single one of these is going to be up and happy. Look at him. It's like he's just waking up and stretching his arms and about to yawn and maybe scratch himself and then go downstairs and make a cup of coffee. That might have been a little too graphic, but leave me alone, all right? Over here, these, remember I said, these were all seeds I saved from rotten peppers at work. And if you didn't know, I think I mentioned in my other videos, I work in a produce department at a grocery store. So we throw a lot of stuff away all the time. And I decided to try saving some seeds. And apparently, the hot peppers are doing marvelously. So I threw like a handful, 4, I think each, 3 or 4 in each of these. Just because I wasn't sure how the germination was going to be. And it looks like they're all coming up. There he is. I don't know if you can see him in that one. Just hiding out underneath there. Doesn't really want to come up yet. Back there. He's coming out. He's coming out to play. And what we got? These are jalapenos. Nope, I lied. Pepperoncinis. Pepperoncinis coming up. Nice. Very nice. Here's the red and the green right here. Each of these rows. And remember, I labeled them, so I know I did not forget. So yeah, peppers are about ready to come out of their little germination dome. And when they do, I'll show you what happens. Alright, so once the peppers sprout and they've opened up and they're looking for some sunshine and a breath of fresh air, what I do, and what you should do, is take them out of the humidity dome because you don't want them to be too wet, you don't want them to damp out, you don't want to lose your seedlings to being overwatered. So what you got to do is get them into some nice fresh air, and usually you'll just do that by popping off your dome and you're all set. But because I'm in my basement and it's kind of chilly down here, I've got this arranged in a way that I've got a couple different temperatures going on here. Down here, we're looking at, where's my thermometer? It's about 64, 65 degrees in this area, which is great for your onions, for your celery, for your cold, hardy things. But your peppers, your tomatoes, your eggplants are going to want a little bit warmer of an environment. So I've only got one heat mat, and so I'm not taking up the space with the heat mat. I created a separate little zone up here where the temperatures are a lot higher. This is about 80, 81 degrees up here. So I've already got my first pepper that I just, for shiggles, and if you don't know what shiggles is, look that up. I've got my first pepper up here, and it's doing great. Here, I'll give you a close-up on this. I'm going to do a close-up sound. Bam! Alright, I'm back from the close-up. So, once the peppers are all up, leaves are open, I take them off the dome. I'm going to put them in one of these, which is just a recycled plastic cover from a baking, whatever you call it, baking pan, those little foil baking pans you get. I didn't need the plastic thing, so I brought them down here. I'm going to use them. So you throw them into one of these things and then use it just the way you would this. You water from the bottom and you keep it well watered, but it's in a nice, comfortable temperature zone that peppers are going to thrive in. And they got their own nice little space here. All my lights are adjustable, they're on change. You can raise them up and down as they start to grow. So warm stuff is going to go up here, cooler stuff is going to go down the bottom. and everything else is down here. Come check this out. Alright, here we are under Big Momma. I stole this thing off of eBay. It was some warehouse light. It is what you call a high intensity discharge lamp. Again, it came from a warehouse. I think I paid less than $50 shipped to my door for this light. It was incredible. I actually think it cost the person who sent it out more to ship than I paid for the entire thing, because once I looked at all the other lamps, after I'd already got it, the prices went way up. But I was just using it out in my barn, like, just for some random light, and I didn't need it anymore, so I took it down, and then once I Googled about indoor growing, they mentioned something about a light I knew I had out in my barn. So how convenient was that? So, I got Big Momma here. Big Momma is feeding my lettuce. And if you remember from the first update, all this was growing in a fish tank. And it occurred to me that I was using all of my potting soil in this fish tank to grow a couple of just experimental things that were kind of shallow rooting. And long story short, they did not need all that soil, and I needed to start using the soil for potting up all those seedlings. So what I did, and I got to admit, it was not pretty. I had these little shallow trays. I put some soil in there, and I attempted to scoop all this lettuce out with a shovel and replant it into here. And I'm going to be honest with you, I was not very nice to these little things. I abused the snot out of them. I was an abusive parent. I'm sorry to say. Yeah, DSS would not be happy if these were my kids. I was poking and prodding them and pushing them, and some of them were upside down and buried and suffocating. But they're doing great, you know. A lot of them didn't survive, but a lot of them did. And you know what? I thinned them out, you know, in the process of replanting them, and they really appreciate that. And I'm growing a nice little salad here. You know, look at this. Look at these things just, you know, coming up all over the place. And I didn't really worry too much about thinning them out the way I was supposed to. I'm just going to let them fight for their own survival, and whoever wins, and I eat them at the end of the game, and that's all good to me. So yeah, my lettuces are doing awesome. They're going to grow into a salad. Spinach is doing great. I broke one of the leaves by accident, and I had to take a little sample. And it was a good sample, but spinach is doing awesome. My lettuces, these are cute. Look at these cute little lettuces. Come on, check that out. Here, I'm going to give you a close-up. Close-up noise, bam! Ain't that the picture-perfect little lettuce? Look at how cool that is. Right in the middle. Man, you could just take a picture of that and hang it on your wall. Alright, so what else down here? The lettuces, spinach, and our little experimental tomatoes. Look at how awesome these things are doing. I cannot believe how easy it was to save these seeds. And you throw them in the dirt, and these two little tomato plants are what we have. Look how awesome that is. Outstanding. So these tomato plants, I mean, I wasn't scheduled to sow any tomatoes. I would just, for shiggles, and again, if you don't know what shiggles is, Google it. So for shiggles, I planted them. They're doing great. I'm gonna keep going with them. And I mean, I think I can just keep potting them up, and as long as they're under this light, I think they'll do fine. But my actual tomatoes aren't due for another couple weeks, but so these guys are going to be ahead of the game, and they're probably going to produce first, and that's fine by me. I'll take some early tomatoes. I don't think anybody's going to complain about early tomatoes. And then these slots over here are where I'm putting those celery seedlings, so that's what I'm going to go do. I'm going to go repot the rest of those celery seedlings. I'm going to throw them here, and I think that gets you up to speed. Alright everybody, that's pretty much it. I think you're all up to speed from the last update. And if anybody's out there who is wondering if they should get into this kind of thing, you know, it's not that hard, you know. This is my first time doing it, and I'm growing stuff, you know. So, if you want to grow your own food, I encourage you to grow your own food. Everybody should be doing this. I don't understand why everybody's not doing this. I mean, this is just like a big epiphany to me. I woke up one day and I'm like, why am I paying for this stuff? I can spend a whole lot less and get a whole lot more by growing it myself. So, this is Rye from the Dry Fly Rye channel. If you want to do this, I encourage you to get up and grow. Until next time, guys. See ya.